Welcome back to Carrigart, or Carrigart 22 as it's technically called. I've actually been playing this farm. This is the map where I'm just a contractor and I don't own my own farm. And I've actually been playing this map longer, more than I thought I would. And I'm going to show you why. Let me just go to the map for a second. So when you look at the map here, most of the paddocks appear to just be squares or rectangles, nothing very exciting. This number one paddock here has a wee bit of a cutout of the square, but otherwise all those paddocks are pretty much just square paddocks and don't look overly exciting. If you're anything like me, you like paddocks with interesting shapes and things, which makes it very, very hard to hire workers to do anything on them, but they're more fun to drive, to actually work. And what I've discovered, now I don't mind unhooking my baler here and actually going for a drive to show you what I'm going to tell you, because I'm not going to save, I'll reload this map before I start playing again. But all of these paddocks, even though they're just squares, I've done about 5 contracts on this farm now. I haven't seen a single paddock yet. It's just a plain old rectangle. Like if you look here, as we're travelling the length of this paddock here, and this is one of the smallest paddocks on the whole farm, I think. See, it's got a rise there, it's got a big dip here. See, that's a huge dip right there. It's got stuff like that. It just makes it a bit more interesting. In fact, I think I've probably... Oh look, you see, the end of this paddock is a big hill, but I didn't even try mowing that, it was so steep. And I've had other paddocks where there's trees in the middle of them. And I'll go for a bit of it because I'm in the middle of 2 contracts at the moment. As I said, I'm going to reload before I play this next, so it doesn't matter that I'm sort of... And part of the reason I'm going to do that is, as you can see, I'm running out of daylight hours pretty damn quickly. And I need to get those 2 contracts finished because I'm playing 1 day months, and otherwise I'll be charged a huge penalty, as Fury Machine Gaming discovered and told me, if I don't finish those contracts this month, which means this day. So that's why I'm going to reload. But see, if I come along here further, I've got another contract that I'm also in the midst of, just down here. So I track this up very fast, so you have to bear with me. But again, it's got a really, really interesting paddock. It's not as dull as it might look on the map. So it's got ups and downs, it's got trees on the side of it. I've had a couple of paddocks with trees right in the middle that you have to mow around and things like that. But you can just see when I'm doing this outside the tractor view just how interesting all these paddocks are. And of all the mowing contracts I've picked up so far, I've never done the same paddock twice yet, and I haven't seen a boring paddock yet. As I said, this is about I think this is contracts 4 and 5 I'm in the midst of doing now, and yeah, I haven't seen a single paddock that's actually boring. And some of them, like if I look at this one on the left of me right now, sorry, I haven't even been into this paddock yet, so I've only driven past it. I haven't even been in there. I don't know if it'll let me open the gate. Oh yes, it will. So if we go in there and have a look, because again, this paddock looks like just a boring old square paddock. But let's just see. There's probably, see already we've got elevation changes there. In fact, this is probably one of the dullest paddocks I've seen on the map so far, this one. But even this one has an elevation change there. But yeah, I've seen paddocks with trees growing in the middle of them. Absolute, really definite elevation changes where in some cases it gets so steep that you sort of, but why are you going to roll the tractor or something? And yeah, just every paddock in this game that I've looked at. This one here, let's not bother with opening the gate, let's just drive through the hedge. Again, there's a really steep bit here. See, it gets quite steep across there. Oh, maybe that's not too steep. It certainly seems steep when you try and drive up the thing. And yeah, I wouldn't want to drive along that sideways, I don't think, in a tractor in real life. I'd sort of have my heart in my mouth a wee bit trying to do that. But yeah, it seems that all the paddocks on this map are like that. Like, they might look boring on the map because they're all just rectangles and squares, but they're anything but boring. I'll take you back and I'll show you a couple of the other paddocks I have already done contracts on, so you can see what I mean as well. Oh, what's holding up traffic here, is it? Oh yes, something's caught there. Oh, there you go. See, now, actually, funnily enough, I was just talking about, AK made a comment on one of my videos on this map, and I said, and this is the second time I've seen this, where the AI has actually jammed itself up without even me being involved. And what you have to do when that happens, now this works on every single map, okay, not just this map, but if you go and find traffic, turn it off, then turn it back on again, there you go, it just resets all the traffic. So if you ever have that on any map where either you've got yourself in such a mess from trying to navigate a thin gateway or something and traffic's just backed up far too quickly and you've got no room, or if you see that AI has jammed itself up like that, you can always just go and turn the traffic off, then straight back on again. It just resets all the traffic, and it means that all those traffic jams just clear themselves up, just like that. Going on here. So I've only just started doing contracts on this half of this map. The other contracts I've been doing are on the other half of the map, so that's where we're on our way to now. I'm also quite enjoying, just for a change, this isn't going to be anything permanent, this map I've got set in modern days. I've got these modern tractors, I've got the big plastic mudguards on the front, which I'm absolutely not a fan of, but one thing that these modern tractors have, if I suddenly come to a stop like that, you might know as well. You can see there, the cabin is actually independently sprung from the rest of the tractor, and you can see the cabin moving slightly. And if you do the inside view, you notice sometimes the bonnet of the tractor moving in relation to the cabin that you're sitting in as well. And it's quite neat because, like, obviously I've never really driven modern tractors before, because I always set my maps in the 80s. In fact, this is one of only two maps I haven't got set in the 80s, and the only one that I've got set in modern days and got modern tractors with cabins on them instead of old school style tractors still. Oops. Okay, this is one. Oh, have I got stuck there? I have. Come on. Let's see if I can get out there. There we go, let this concrete mixer go. Oh, and this is the kind of thing when you might have to... So we're going for the ultra realism here, as you can see. Yeah, or not. So up here, there's a turn off just past the church. Have I missed it? Oh, I have too. Damn, I've missed it. Oh no, here's the church. So if we go up just past the church here, there's a turn off here, and oh, come on. Sorry, I'm getting a bit crazy on this video with my driving, and it wasn't deliberately planned that way, but I did this contract earlier on the same game day. Oh, come on. That gate was quite hard to find the trigger. And so hence why the grass is short in this paddock, because I've only just mown this one. You see there's trees going along the sides there. And there's a lot of elevation changes. It's anything but flat. I haven't seen a flat paddock on this game yet, on this whole map. And it goes down here to the river. And again, I was dropping round bales. I had to be very, very careful how I dropped the round bales so I didn't lose any of them into the river there. Now, because this is a modern, I've got this map set in modern times, you see all these elevation changes here still, and back there was the kind of thing that I was talking about, how some of these hills are so steep that you get on them sideways, come back here, and your tractor's on a decent bit of a lean and things, you know. That one there, I don't think I'd want to be seeing that tractor in real life when it's on that angle, although I'm sure it would handle that angle. It didn't look so steep that it would roll, but yeah, I'd have my heart in my mouth a wee bit, bringing that tractor right there. But yeah, so you can see what I mean. And this paddock, let's drive through the hedge here, so I can see right here, this paddock has a tree in the middle of it here. So you have to mow around that if you get a pick-up mowing contract for this paddock. So, and the one next door, which I've done, that's got 3 trees in the middle of it. So I've already done this one the previous day as a mowing contract. This is the one that had the big dip over here somewhere. There's a huge dip in this field. Yeah, yeah, down in here. Doesn't look too bad until you go up the other side of it, and suddenly you realise how big that dip is. So, yeah, I wanted to share that because the more I played this Carrigart map, the more I'm really enjoying it. I still think I've made the right decision because none of the farms on this map really appealed to me very much, just in the layout of the yards and things, and I didn't feel like building a yard from scratch. I have done that before, but often I'm not overly happy with the results. And in fact, an interesting thing here I'll mention, the only times I've built yards from scratch and I'm actually happy with how they look is when I think back to a map I've played on a previous version of Farming Simulator and try and copy that yard into the map I'm building. So for example, I used to play Carrigart Park Farm, and not the main yard, but there's a smaller cow farm on Carrigart Park Farm, and any of you that have ever played that map before, you'd be familiar with that little cow farm. Really loved the layout of that. So this farm here I was going to show, this one I think has potential. This one has potentially got something going for this yard, but it's not really big enough. It's only those, that looks more like a contractor's kind of yard, and I end up building my own contractor's shed for my contracting in this game. But yeah, so that little, the cow farm on Carrigart Park Farm, I used that, I copied that layout into a map once when I had scratch build a yard, and I was really happy with how that came out. And I can't remember the name of the map now, it was in another map that I really liked the yard. I had scratch build a yard in another map I was playing, so I tried to copy the yard from a map I'd already played, someone else had designed, into the map I was building, and I was happy with that. But there you go. Observations. There's actually too much traffic on this map, I must say. There's too much traffic on most maps, I think. Given that this is a farming game, so we're talking about country roads and things, I actually think there should be, I don't know, 1/5 the amount of traffic that there is. Basically, and I don't know how easy this is to do, so I've never designed a map from scratch or anything, but if I was designing a map from scratch, I'd want it so that once every 5 minutes or so a car comes along. So there's enough traffic on the roads that it makes the roads feel alive. Like, you know, it's not just a game map that you're in on your own, but it's a real live living piece of countryside. But there's not very much traffic because country roads don't generally get a lot of traffic. Now the only thing I've found that doesn't work on this map so far is these petrol pumps. I couldn't put diesel in at these petrol pumps. None of them seem to work. So what I've done in the interim is put a pump in between each island of petrol pumps. I am pretty sure that I have seen on the official website a petrol pump mod that you can use for putting diesel in. So I might go looking for that and take out these red tanks and put another pump island in between each one of these, because for this farm, for this map, I don't own a farm, I am just a contractor. I didn't think it would feel right to have like a diesel tank back at my contracting yard back here, so I didn't want to put a diesel tank in my contracting yard. This didn't quite feel right. I thought, since I'm out in the tractors all the time going to different fields to mow them, it was just as easy to pull past the petrol station when my tractors needed diesel and just put diesel in them there. So yeah, I did consider that I could put a diesel tank to my right here somewhere, take out a bit of that rubbish and put a diesel tank, but it just didn't have the right feel for me to do so. So I'm going to get the petrol pumps at the petrol station working. If I can't find a petrol pump mod, then I'll just leave the tanks I've got there. I'm pretty sure I did see one, in which case I'll replace those existing tanks I put in there with the petrol pump mod. Just jump out of this, go for a run for a second, back to that garage. So, but yeah, the diesel pumps there are the only thing I've found so far that don't work on this map. And that's really not a biggie, because most people, if they're playing on a map, they're going to have a farm, and if they've got a farm, they could put one of those placeable diesel tanks on their farm, and it would be sweet as. So to me, it's not a complaint that these diesel pumps here don't actually work, but it is annoying just because I'm using this purely as a contractor's yard map and not a own a farm map. Okay, well that's all I wanted to discuss with you really, was how the fields are actually a lot more exciting than they appear on this map. So I will talk to you all again later. Thanks. Bye.